Hi, this is Vishwa. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 18th May 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see that quote. So this quote is given by Aristotle. So Aristotle regarding quotes are very important from your ethics point of view. So why? So in ethics, you will be having a chapter regarding the thinkers. Okay, so in that thinkers topic we are going to study about this Aristotle, and from that thinkers topic you can get a questions regarding quote. They will be giving quote and they will be asking you to analyze the quote, okay, or they will be asking you what do you understand regarding that quote. So in that way here quotes are very important from especially ethics point of view in the thinkers chapter. So quote here is, be a free thinker and don't accept everything you hear as truth. So be critical and evaluate what you believe in. So this quote, it is very important after you once become a civil servant or a bureaucrat. So after becoming a bureaucrat or after becoming a civil servant, then you have to be like a free thinker. You should not accept everything that you hear as a truth. You have to be critical and you need to evaluate the truth, and finally you have to evaluate what you believe in. Okay, so this is the quote, and this quote you can write even in your essays and as well as even in your mains answers as well. So now let us try to see first topic. It is regarding India-Nepal relations. So title says that symbolism and beyond. So this article, which is mainly talking about our Prime Minister recent visit to Nepal on this Buddha Purnima, and he went for signing of number of memorandum of understandings. So we need to know those memorandum of understandings, in which areas we had this, and later on we need to talk about what is a way forward for India-Nepal relations. So in which area we need to work to strengthen our ties, because regarding this India-Nepal relations we have some issues. So because of this boycott of goods, and even we can talk about Kalapani and Susta region issues, and even hydroelectricity, okay, regarding issues. Okay, so these are some important issues regarding this India-Nepal relations. So mainly to strengthen or deepen the ties or bilateral ties between India and Nepal. So what are the steps that we need to take? So those are the things that are mainly given in this article. And now let us try to understand this article in a systematic way, right? So now this article is important from your mains point of view, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2 under international relations. So I will be giving you perspectives. So first perspective, you need to know about context, why this India-Nepal relations is in years. So you need to know some facts regarding this Buddha Purnima. So already we discussed this topic in our earlier lectures, and we need to know about what are some important statements which are given by our Prime Minister in his visit to Nepal. And later on you need to know about what are the memorandum of understandings or agreements which are mainly signed. And later on we need to know about what are some concerns regarding India-Nepal issues. And later on we need to talk about this way ahead. So these are some important perspectives that you need to know whenever any topic which is seen in news, right? So if you see here context, our Prime Minister Modi ji, he made a short visit to Lumbini in Nepal, okay, on this Buddha Jayanti or Buddha Purnima. So already we know some facts regarding this Buddha, right? So it is our part of ancient history as well, okay? So here prelims, it is very near. I hope you had revised the topic regarding this Buddhism, right? So this Buddhism, it is one of the important and favorite area of UPSC, and you can expect a question from this chapter in your UPSC prelims for sure. So if you're talking about Lumbini in Buddhist tradition, actually this Lumbini, it is a birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Okay, so our Prime Minister, he mainly visited this Lumbini, and apart from that attending of this Buddha Purnima, so he also made a foundation stone for India International Center for Buddhist Culture and Heritage in Lumbini Monastic Zone. So in Lumbini Monastic Zone, our Prime Minister and as well as Nepal counterpart, they also laid a stone for this India International Center for Buddhist Culture and Heritage. So, and even India and Nepal, they signed 6 memorandum of understandings and agreement after the bilateral talks between our Prime Minister and as well as Nepalese Prime Minister in Lumbini. So those memorandum of understandings mainly include, so first one here is regarding Indian Council of Cultural Relations and Lumbini Buddhist University, and they came with establishment of Dr. Ambedkar Chair for Buddhist Studies. So most of them are regarding studies. The first one it is regarding Buddhist studies, and memorandum of understanding between Indian Council of Cultural Relations and as well as CNAS Tribhuvan University, and they came with establishment of CICCR Chair of Indian Studies. And next one is also regarding Chair of Indian Studies, and next one is regarding Nepal Indian Institute of Technology Madras, and they also came with a joint degree program at master's level as well. And they also talked about implementation of Arun 4 projects. Okay, they also came with implementation of Arun 4 projects. So out of these 6 memorandum of understandings, so 5 are regarding education, one it is regarding this Arun 4 project. So you have to remember this. And if you are talking about some important statements which are mainly said by our Prime Minister, in our Prime Minister's speech in this Lumbini, he mainly highlighted that yes, between India and Nepal we have strong cultural ties. Okay, we have strong cultural ties between these two countries which already shared a special relationship. Okay, so we already signed this Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which is mainly signed in year 1950. Okay, so and not only this Treaty of Peace and Friendship signed in 1950, but even India and Nepal, they share strong cultural ties as well. There are, even though we are having a peace treaty here, so there are several issues of concerns which are mainly present between India and Nepal, that is regarding the boycott of goods earlier, and even they will be talking about this Kalapan and Susta region issue and some issues, okay, regarding this India and Nepal relations. But if you see on other side, we have some significant changes in this Nepal's political economy, and we are seeing that there is reduction in the Nepal's youth dependence on this Indian economy as compared to the past. So if you are comparing with the past year, there is dependence of this Nepali youth on Indian economy which mainly decreased. And here beyond the soft power, we can also focus on this cultural ties, and India and Nepal relations, they need to graduate to more meaningful partnership, especially on economic and as well as geopolitical issues. So regarding this economic and geopolitical issues, so we need to have a more meaningful partnership. And apart from that, we need to focus on infrastructure development in Nepal. For example, we need to go for hydroelectric power projects, transportation related things, and connectivity regarding things. So here we can go for development in these areas. So whenever there is development in this hydropower projects, transportation, and as well as connectivity, then that will mainly benefit the citizens of the adjoining states in India as well. So in this way, we can improve bilateral relationship between India and Nepal. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding cold chain systems. So where we can use this cold chain system, especially for the vaccine delivery and the storage of vaccines. So title says improving cold chain systems. So we need robust cold chain systems or the investment in India's future pandemic preparedness. So if you want to prepare for the future pandemic in India, we need to focus on this cold chain systems. So now let us try to understand what is this universal immunization program, and we are going to talk about some facts regarding this universal immunization program. So I want to give you some dimensions. So first we need to know about what is this cold chain system. So what is the importance of this cold chain system, and we need to know about data regarding cold chain systems in India, and we need to know about what is the impact of this COVID-19, okay, on this cold chain systems and what can be done. And we can also think about this universal immunization program, and you can also talk about mission Indradhanush. So in these dimensions you can think about. So if you're talking about the context here, it mainly says that yes, this global pandemic, that is COVID-19, has taught us a great deal. We have all become very much familiar with some terms like variants, waves, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. So we have number of variants: alpha variant, beta variant, delta variant, and recently Omicron variant. And so Omicron related number of variants that are mainly seen in news now. And we are very much familiar regarding this vaccine supply chains and as well as quarantine. So because of this COVID-19, we are very much well versed with these terms like variants, waves, vaccine supply chains, quarantine, etc. So it also has encouraged an interest in preventive health. So because of this COVID-19, we started focusing much on this preventive health. So this preventive health care, which is mainly done through providing of and vaccines. Okay, so if you are mainly providing vaccines, so it will be like a preventive step. Already you know that a famous quote, prevention is better than cure. Okay, we need to focus on this preventive health technology as well. So the interest, which is understandable, this interest is understandable that India accounts for second highest case load of this COVID-19 globally. So globally, if you compare with other countries, so India, which mainly accounts for the second highest number of cases. So once the vaccines were available, the nation had to take on the task of rolling out one largest vaccination program. Okay, so if you're talking about India's vaccination program, we have already universal immunization program. So this universal immunization program, which mainly launched in 1985, and we are mainly focusing on delivering of routine immunization. Okay, for example, polio, for example, measles, rubella, etc. And this universal immunization program, which also had its strengths in managing the large scale vaccine delivery as well. And under this program, it is mainly targeting about 2.67 crore newborns, and not only this newborn, about 2.9 crore pregnant women annually, they are mainly targeted under this universal immunization program. And this program, which is mainly having some outcomes, like in 2014, the mission of this the mission Indradhanush was introduced, and this mission Indradhanush, which is mainly focusing on achieving of full immunization, and it is focusing on coverage of all children and as well as pregnant women in a very rapid pace. Okay, and pandemic, which mainly showed us that there were weak lines in chain, and especially we do not have proper essential cold chain facilities. Okay, so because of this, it is one of the important thing that is not leading to increasing of efficiency of these vaccines. So we are talking about cold chain management. For example, we are producing so and so drug in a so and so factory. So whenever it is reaching out of this factory, so it need to be maintained certain temperature. Especially they need to maintain some very low temperature. Example, if you are talking about Sputnik vaccines, it should be stored at -°C, right? So here, whenever you are not having a proper cold chain management means, so yes, the efficiency of these vaccines will be decreased, and the damage of these vaccines will be obviously increased. So the success of any sustainable vaccination program, so which mainly relies on many factors. So first important factor here is cold chain management. Okay, so this cold chain management, that will be helpful for increasing of potency and as well as effectiveness of vaccine. Okay, so what happened here, nearly half of the vaccines, they are mainly distributed across the world, they go waste because of there is no proper cold chain system, or there is no proper storage temperature. And if you're talking about importance of this cold chain, okay, cold chain infrastructure, so about 20% of this temperature sensitive healthcare products, they may arrive damaged or degraded because of broken or insufficient cold chains. So because of there is no proper insufficient cold chains, so 20% of this temperature sensitive healthcare products, they arrive damaged or degraded, and the V stage has cost implications, and they can even delay this achievement of this immunization target. So if there are any delays, means we can't go for achievement of this immunization target within a so and so time limit. So India has strong foundations to build upon, and India's universal immunization program, which mainly comprise upwards about 27,000 functional cold chain pods, and they constitute about 750, that is 3%, which are located in this district level. Okay, and the COVID-19 vaccination efforts, they mainly relate on this cold chain infrastructure, and the data which mainly says that over 87 crore people with 2 doses of vaccines, okay, which, and also over 100 crore with a single dose. Okay, so under this COVID-19 vaccination program, so we came with a number of efforts. So in these efforts, we came up with establishing of universal immunization program to cover about 87 crore people. okay, with 2 doses, and about 100 crore people they are given only with the single dose. So as you all know that COVID-19 vaccine that should be taken in a 2 doses. So this effort, which was mainly supported by the government's cloud-based digital platform, that is, we have this CoWIN platform. So in this CoWIN platform, it mainly helpful for registration, immunization, as well as appointments, and even it issues some digital vaccine certificates as well. And the health ministry has been digitalizing the vaccine supply chain network in the recent years. So in the recent years, the health ministry has been digitalizing the vaccine supply chain network in the recent years. It is mainly through the use of cloud technology. Okay, that is, for example, event platform. So here also you know that Gavi it is a vaccine alliance, so which mainly implemented by United Nations Development Program, in short UNDP, to a smartphone based app. And this platform, which mainly digitizes information on the vaccine stock and as well as temperature across the country. And in this way, it mainly supports the workers who are mainly working in the last mile as well. And next one is, we need to focus on supporting infrastructure for the cold chain as a regular source supply of electricity. So if you want to maintain proper temperature, we need electricity. So here in this regard, we need to first of all improve the electricity, especially in the last mile of these tribal areas. So in this way, they will be having some potential for the surface for the solar driven technology. So we can have the solar rooftops on our roof of the houses, and in this way we can also explore the integrated sustainable development as well. So here finally author says that we need a robust cold chain system. Okay, we need a robust cold chain system in India's future pandemic preparedness. So what are the steps that we can take, what are the lessons that we taught here, that we learned here? So we need to focus on those lessons. And finally, we need to improve cold chain system in India such that we will be having some opportunity, which mainly lead by building back better and as well as stronger. That will be helpful, especially for being prepared for the next pandemic. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says Gnanvapi and the Place of Worship Act. So actually this Gnanvapi mosque is in controversy now. So actually what happened, if you want to know the details, actually I did some research yesterday and I found some interesting facts regarding this Gnanvapi mosque. So what happened, actually this Gnanvapi mosque, which mainly built over one Hindu temple. So actually what happened during the time of this Aurangzeb? During the time of Aurangzeb, he demolished about 40,000 temples, and on this demolished temple, he built mosque. So it is one of the important mosque which mainly built on one temple actually. So actually, if you see the name of this mosque, it is a Gnanvapi mosque. So it is a name which is related to Hindu name. Actually, it is not a Muslim name as well. So because of this, you can say that yes, by seeing this name only you can understand. So it is not a Muslim name. Okay, so it is not a name of Islam. So here what happened, here there is a one allegation that so this mosque, which is mainly built on a nearby temple or temple complex, and actually in this mosque nearby there are some important relics of a temple, and which mainly shows that there is demolition of temple which is mainly happened. So what is the issue here is earlier actually in 1991 one petition which is mainly filed regarding this Gnanvapi mosque. Okay, actually it is mainly built on a Hindu temple. So later on what happened recently, why again it is in news, because actually earlier during this Navratri, here in this mosque or outside this mosque, there are about 5 important places will be there that will be worshipped by the Hindu women. So during this Navratri, so this woman will be allowed to do some worship in this Gnanvapi mosque. But what happened, because of this Babri Masjid judgment which is given by Supreme Court, so from that day onwards there is increasing of security of this mosque, and here no one is allowed to do worship here. Okay, especially Hindu women, they are not allowed here in the premises of this mosque to worship. So because of this, here 5 women, they mainly filed a petition in the court regarding they need to be allowed to worship during this Navratri period. So because of this is the news. And here in this topic you have to also refer about this Place of Worship Act. So this article is important from your GS paper to under polity point of view. So now let us try to see the context. The Supreme Court on Tuesday directed the District Magistrate of Varanasi to ensure the protection of the area at this Nan-Vapi mosque complex, where a shivling is said to have found during the survey there. So there was a well in this complex of this mosque. So in this complex of this mosque, here they find that shivling is there. But people, Muslim community, they mainly say that it is not shivling. Actually, it is a fountain. Okay, it is a fountain which is mainly found whenever there was construction. So because of that, because of construction work which is mainly happened earlier, so because of that there was a one fountain they found. So it is a argument of Muslims, but Hindu says that it is shivling. So Supreme Court directed this District Magistrate of Varanasi to ensure the protection of the area of this Nan-Vapi mosque complex, where a shivling is said to have found. So now if you are talking about details, it mainly says that in March 2021, so what happened, whenever this woman they filed a petition, so your Supreme Court ordered for a committee, and ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, came up with a committee, and they came up with a video recording of that Nan-Vapi mosque, and they are mainly submitting, or they mainly submitted the evidences in a form of a sealed cover. So that what happened here, judge will be going through that evidences, and finally he will be giving the judgment in the future, right? So in this video recording they found actually shivling. Okay, so in March 2021, so Supreme Court asked Center to respond to the petition that mainly challenges this Place of Worship Special Provisions Act of 1991. And here this law which was enacted to freeze the status of all places of worship in the country as on August 15, 1947. So as on August 15, 1947, what is the status of the worship centers in the country? That we are going for the freeze. That means we are going for that. We are not going to change anything. So but there are some exceptions. So exceptions were mainly made to this Babri Masjid, Ram Janmabhoomi dispute. Okay, and next one is the dispute which mainly ended after the court ruled that land on which masjid stood should hand over to the Hindu community. So in this Babri Masjid judgment, you know that your Supreme Court said that whatever the area in which this mosque is present, that should be handed over to the construction for the Ram temple, and this Muslims, they will be allocating some other place in that area. So this act which also says that no person shall convert any place of worship of any religious denomination into one of the different denomination or section. So we should not go for conversion of the place of worship with another religion. So it mainly contains a declaration that the place of worship shall continue to be as it was on August 15th, 1947. So in this way, this act which also prohibits legal proceedings from being instituted regarding the character of a place of worship, and also declares that all suits and appeals pending before any court or authority on the cut-off date regarding the conversion of the character of a place of worship shall abate. So what is the meaning of these statements? That means this 1991 Act will not apply in some cases. Okay, for example, it will be not apply for ancient and as well as historical monuments. It will be not applied for this archaeological sites. Okay, and it will be remain that covered by ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains Act of 1958 for this ancient and historical monuments, and for this archaeological sites, so they will be mainly covered by this ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains Act of 1958, but not this religious act. And if you see here, this will also not apply to any suit that has been finally settled or disposed of, any dispute that has been settled by the parties before 1991 Act came into force. So before 1991 Act, which mainly came into force, if there is any party they went for settling of that so and so issue, or in that cases this act will also not apply. So because of this, here lawyers of this Nan-Vapi mosque administration, they argue that ongoing civil cases which are mainly filed by these Hindu devotees constitute an attempt to change the status of this place of worship act, and because of this, it is mainly violating the act. So this is the thing which mainly said by this people who are mainly favoring this mosque. And next one is, if you're talking about on other side, we have this Vishwa Hindu Parishad. So this Vishwa Hindu Parishad, which mainly says that the Places of Worship Act is not applicable to this Gnan-Vapi issue, because as there was no change of religious structure that is mainly seen since 1947 onwards. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding boon to ban. So what is this article talking about? It is talking about wheat exports from India. So what happened within 2 months of time? So we saw there is a very great change in the wheat exports. So before 2 months here, government said that yes, we are going to export this wheat from India. And within 2 months, we say that we came with the ban of wheat export in India. So we need to see this topic in a very great detail. So now let us try to understand this topic in a very great detail. So if you see here, so what is the context here? Now very recently, Government of India said that we are going for banning of Indian exports of wheat to other countries. So we are mainly banning of export of wheat from India. So if you see before 2 months in the March, here one question which mainly asked by Congress leader in Rajya Sabha that so we can go for improving of wheat exports because of this ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis, which mainly offered an opportunity for India to increase the wheat exports. So for that, our Government of India said that yes, we are going for increasing of our Indian wheat exports, and we want to capture the entire world taste buds with Indian wheat. So this is the one important statement which is given by our Commerce and Industry Ministry. Okay, so here because of that statement which is given by the Government of India, yes, government also tried a lot to increase the wheat exports. Okay, so it also decided to send the trade delegations to Morocco, Tunisia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Turkey, Algeria, Lebanon, etc. And we are trying to explore the possibility of boosting of wheat exports from India. So these are some steps which are mainly taken by government. But now what happened? Many food security campaigners, they mainly insisted regarding this cautious approach. Okay, so they mainly insisting that we need to be cautious. So here what are the reasons they are mainly citing by this food security campaigners? So first one is, so we need to focus on stability of prices. We need to focus on stability of prices in the Indian market. Already you know that WPI and CPI, so wholesale price index, consumer price index, it is very high, and India we are also facing inflation. So because of this inflation, RBI came up with increasing of rates, that is 40 basis point of repo rate and 50 basis point of CRR, right? So first we need to focus on the stability of prices. So whenever there is increasing of the prices, whenever there is a high price of this wheat in the market means, so the people, that will be affecting the nutrition of the people, and even that will lead to decrease in the consumption of this wheat. That will in turn lead to number of health problems as well. So the first one is stability of prices, and second one is we need to focus on availability of grains. Okay, availability of grains for domestic consumption. So these are the two important top priorities which are mainly put forth by this food security campaigners. And whenever there is increase in the exports, that should not be done at the cost of domestic production, domestic consumption. So here this is the thing which mainly said by these campaigners, and they mainly had a note on this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana as well. So why we need to go for the ban of this wheat exports? Because as of if you're talking about especially production of wheat in India, so earlier estimates say that we are going to have 111.32 million tons of wheat this year, and actually the estimate which may be revised, and it is mainly said that it is like 105 metric tons of this crop we are going to get by the end of this June. That means whatever the estimates that we have earlier and what are the estimates that we are having today, so there is a lot of change. And even Press Trust of India, which mainly said that 18 metric tons of wheat were produced till May 14th of ongoing 2020-22 to 2023 marketing year. Okay, so because of this it is very much less. So because of this decreased production, so we see that there is considerable fall of wheat procurement. Okay, this is also one of the important cause of concern here. So whenever there is decreasing of production, that will also have some impact on this domestic consumption as well. And even we are seeing there is a local price of this wheat which mainly had started increasing. That mainly affects the food security of the people. And even some other reasons for the decreasing of production is because of this heat waves. So because of this extreme temperature which been recorded in the month of March and April across the northern India, it already led to decreasing of production. And finally we are mainly talking about this ban of wheat exports. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding global death which are associated with this pollution. So 1 in 6 global deaths in 2019 which mainly linked to pollution. So this is about a Lancet report. This is according to this Lancet report on deaths which are mainly based on pollution. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So here if you're talking about pollution, yes, pollution which mainly caused nearly 9 million deaths in 2019, and or we can say 1 out of 6 deaths in the worldwide, so which is mainly related to pollution, and the number has remained effectively unchanged since previous such analysis in 2015 by this Lancet Commission report on pollution and as well as health. So this Lancet Commission report on this pollution and health which mainly says that here we have this 9 million deaths in 2019 and about 1 out of 6 deaths. So if there are any 6 deaths, so out of the 6 deaths, 1 death which is mainly contributing to this pollution. So if you're talking about details, it mainly says that though the number of deaths from the pollution sources are associated with extreme poverty, for example, we can talk about indoor air pollution, we can talk about water pollution. So how can we connect this indoor air pollution? So especially in the rural areas, women, they will be going for cooking of their food on this traditional chulas, and in this they are mainly using some firewood. So because of this firewood, that will releases a lot of amount of gases and even ash, soot, etc. So because of this, that will be having some impact on their health and even the children, okay, in that house. So because of this indoor air pollution, it will be like weakening of lungs and they will be susceptible to respiratory disorders, and finally that will lead to the death. So indoor pollution as well as water pollution, they are important causes for the death. Okay, and next one is we can also talk about industrial pollution. For example, air pollution, chemical pollution, it is also one of the important reason. And the report of this Lancet 2019 which mainly said that noxious air, that is polluted air, which mainly killed 1.67 million Indians in year 2019. And we can also link this deaths with the Delhi pollution as well, Delhi smog, right, during especially winter season. So the health impacts of pollution which remain enormous, and low and middle income countries, they bear the brunt of this burden. Especially for this low and middle income countries, they will be having a lot of burden regarding this pollution. And despite of this enormous health, social and economic impacts, so because of this pollution we will be having health impacts, right, we will be having hospitalization, we will be having social impacts. So if any one person in the family who is felt sick means, so that entire family, they will be facing consequences. And there will also, if there is any person who died because of this pollution or the death means, that will be having some economic impacts on that family. Okay, so actually because of this health, social and economic agenda, so international development agenda which is mainly focusing on decreasing of pollution. So this Lancet Commission report which mainly came up with some recommendations, it mainly says that we need to start a science policy or policy panel on this climate change, and we need to go for increasing of funding for pollution control from the government and as well as donors, and we need to focus on improved pollution monitoring and as well as data collection methods. So these are some recommendations which are mainly recommended by this report. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding wholesale price inflation. Wholesale price inflation quickened to record high of 15% in month of April. So as you know that we discussed about this inflation topic, that in the month of April there is a very high inflation that is mainly seen. We said about this CPI. Now there is article regarding this wholesale price index. So this topic is important from your economy point of view. which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if we're talking about the context, which mainly says that inflation, the wholesale price, which mainly quickened to 15.1% in month of April. In month of April, this wholesale price index, it is like 15.1%. It is a very fast pace. There is increasing of inflation in the country. So this inflation, which is mainly driven by increasing of fuel price and increasing of food prices, and there is also increasing of fruits, vegetables and milk prices as well. So if you see some details, it mainly says that if you are seeing the last month, that is in the month of March, it is comparatively less. So the previous inflation record the current series of wholesale price index using this 2011 to 2012. It is a base year for calculating of this wholesale price index. It was like 14.9% in the November 2021, and now it crossed to 15%. So now let us try to see some facts regarding this wholesale price index. So this wholesale price index, which mainly represents the prices of the basket of goods which are mainly sold at wholesale rates. So we have manufacturers, we have wholesalers, we have retailers, we have consumers. So these wholesalers, they will be bringing the bulk amount of goods and goods especially from this manufacturer, and the price at which they are getting, that is called as wholesale price. And this inflation, which mainly measures at a factory level and not at an individual or consumer level. So if we're talking about what are the objectives of this WPI, so we are mainly trying to monitor the price changes that mainly reflects the demand and supply in the market, right? So it will be also helpful in accessing the macroeconomic as well as macroeconomic as well as microeconomic conditions of our economy. So apart from that, which is a ministry which is mainly publishing this wholesale price index, that is Office of Economic Advisor, which mainly comes in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and the base year is 2011 to 2012. So these are some important facts that you need to remember regarding this topic. And now let us try to see yesterday's question. So first one, it is regarding veto. The president can exercise his or her power of veto over the bills passed by parliament. Which of the following veto or the presidents of India they will be enjoying? Yes, suspensive veto, absolute veto, it is not qualified veto, it is pocket veto. So 1, 2 and 4, that is option 4 is the correct answer. And next question is like regarding ordinance. So the president cannot promulgate an ordinance in which conditions? When either of houses are not in session, yes. In this condition, yes, president can promulgate ordinance according to Article 123 of Indian Constitution. When the both houses are in session, this is not the thing. And when only one house in the session, yes, because whenever any bill to become an act, it should be passed in both the houses, and finally president need to give assent. Then only that bill will become an act. So if only one house in session, means we can't go for passing of that bill. So here we can go for promulgating of ordinance, and when the both houses of parliament are not in session, yes. Okay, so correct option will be 2 only. So now let us try to see today's questions. The first one, it is regarding according to Indian Constitution. So it is mainly talking about elected members and as well as nominated members. So please try to read the statements which are given below and give me the correct answer. And next question is regarding zonal council. So please try to read the statements and give me the correct option for this question. So these are the today's questions. And now let me make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science came up with this foundational course through this pen drive, and this validity of this course, it is 2 years, and we are discussing each and every topic in our syllabus, and we are discussing previous year's questions of prelims and also mains. So in this way, this course is very beneficial. And if you have any doubt regarding this course, please contact us on this number 8074765513. Okay, and if you want to take the single modules like only history, only geography, only science and technology, international relations and ethics, economy, you can take the individual subjects as well, and these are also very beneficial. So if you have any queries, so please contact us on this number. And if you have any doubt or if you want to watch demo videos for these courses, you can visit our website rathodsisacademy.com, and there you have to register with your email ID. So after once registration is done, then you can watch the demo videos. There are 3 demo videos in each and every module that you can watch. After watching only you can do for payment, right? And if you want to get the PDF of this class, you can join the Telegram channel, and that channel link is given in description box. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. Date is May 18, 2022, and this is Delhi edition. So first topic is regarding this Gyanvapi mosque. I discussed this topic, and here one more article, it is regarding CBI books Karti in visa scam case. So this person Karti, who is son of this Chidambaram, he mainly involved in this visa scam case. So these scams are very important to write your ethics answers, especially if you are writing about values and ethics. So whenever you are having high value and low skills, we can avoid this type of scams. So whenever there is high skills and low values, then that will lead to this corruption, bribery and scams. So this is one of the example you can quote, okay, because it is in current affairs, you have to quote the recent current affairs. Then examiner will also understand that yes, you are updated in current affairs. And next topic is about Ukraine troops surrender in Mariupol steel plant, which mainly says this Russia. So you have to know about this Mariupol steel plant, where it is located. And now and then the articles regarding this Ukraine and Russia, which is coming in news. So once everything is done, we are going to come up with a separate video. And if you move forward in the city page, water production in Delhi down by 6 to 7%. So this article is very important. So water which is mainly treated and supplied across the city is down by 6 to 7%. Okay, so this is about treating of water. And if you move forward, and in this states page, I didn't found anything which is important from UPSC point of view. And here in this editorial page, I discussed regarding this India-Nepal article. And here there is one more article which is important regarding higher education in India. Choosing a right answer from the set of multiple choice does not do justice to the subject and nuance of the social issues. So it is mainly talking about entrance test, okay, common university entrance test. So this is very important, and actually if you are going for or pursuing the higher education, this is important, but you can't expect much questions related to this topic in UPSC. And if you see in this op-ed page, I discussed regarding this cold chain systems. And if you move forward in this text and context, I discussed regarding this place of worship act. And yes, of course, in this prelims you are going to get a question regarding this place of worship act. And I discussed about this wheat exports, and it's not much important from UPSC point of view. And if you see this news page, there is one article regarding this fat reduction surgery. So you have to know the basic facts regarding what is this fats. You have to know about monosaturated, unsaturated. Okay, that thing which is very important. So where we are getting this unsaturated fats, and as well as where we are getting this saturated fats, so which is important for our body. So what is this fat and fat metabolism, how it's going to happen in the body. So that will come under our basic science topic, so you have to defer that, and this is your homework for today. And next one is Navy's primary objective, it is to keep Indo-Pacific safe. So this is the thing which mainly said by our defense minister. So Indo-Pacific region is very, very important for the economy of not only India but also throughout the world. So because of this, as you all know that India is a part of this Indo-Pacific region, so we are mainly responsible for maintaining of open, safe and secure Indo-Pacific region. So this is the thing which mainly said by our Indo-Pacific region. So number of times we discussed about why there is increasing relevance of this Indo-Pacific region, and why the power which is mainly shifted from this west towards east. Okay, that thing again you have to revise. And next topic, it is regarding G7 likely to increase pressure to reverse this exports ban of wheat. So I discussed about this wheat export ban. There we discussed about what are the reasons for the export ban and what are the views of this food security people, right? And next, food security campaigners. Here you need to know about which are the countries which comes in the part of this G7. So this is very important for your prelims. And this one is place of worship act does not apply to this Gyanvapi. So we discussed this topic. And if you move forward, here in this 12th page, there is 1 in 6 global death which are mainly linked to pollution. So I discussed this topic. And this one is regarding this changes to biodiversity law will weaken it. Okay, so here you need to know about what is biodiversity law. Already we discussed in our earlier lecture, so you have to revise this topic, and this is also homework. And next interesting topic here is avian enthusiasts flock together for Himalayan exercise. So actually they found that highest number of bird species are found in Uttarakhand, and next one is Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, and next important topic here is Finland and Sweden. They are going to submit NATO membership today. So we need to see whether this NATO will be giving membership for them or not. And if you move forward, I discussed regarding this wholesale inflation topic. And next one here is Russia jumps to the 4th in the Indian oil supply. So actually what happened, Russia became the 4th largest oil supplier to India in the month of April. So you have to let me know, so which are the first supplier, second supplier and third supplier of oil for India. So that will be important for your prelims as well. Okay, so please try to complete the homework whatever I am giving. So by this I am concluding. So these are some important articles that appear in the today's newspaper. So by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to Rathod's IAS Academy and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.